and I make videos about sewing from my tiny sewing space in my camper van. In today's episode I'm going to be making a leafy wall hanging bunting type thing. Haven't quite planned it yet, but kind of have an idea in my head. So if you're interested to see what I'm going to make, what it's going to look like, then stick with me. I do want to hang it kind of behind me here. It's feeling pretty autumny today. It's rainy, windy. It's not cold, it's quite mild, but you've got that kind of autumny feel in the air. So I want to get all the van nice and autumny. First thing I'm going to do is draw or find a template of a leaf. If you can't draw, have a little look on Google. There's plenty of leaf shapes. You can just draw around one and cut it out. And then if I'm doing that, I normally use tracing paper and then glue the tracing paper with the design onto some cardboard from a cereal box or something, and then cut that out, and then I've got something to draw around. But you can use any leaf shape. I'm going to use kind of like a maple leaf shape, but you can use whatever sort you want, or you can combine them, or you can use completely different shapes. It's completely up to you. It's a scrappy, fun project, so there's no rules really. Who remembers the pumpkin folk from last year that I made? Oh, they're lovely, they're so cute. I think it's their little faces. Aww. Thank you so much for all your thoughts and kind comments about my last video, where it was my first video in the campervan space, sewing space, and I hadn't even decided whether I was going to record all my videos in here or not. However, after such a positive response, I'm definitely going to. And well, the second reason is I love it. It's just brilliant. It's just like being outside. It's like being on holiday. It is a tiny space, but I don't have a space in my house to sew. I'm normally in the dining room. Some of my things are in the spare bedroom. Some of the things are in the dining room and cupboards and things. So my sewing things are really spread out. And because I have quite a creative mind, I've always got so many projects going on in my mind. I've got creative projects all over the house as well. So I'm finding, although it is only the second week, but I'm finding that it's really good for me creatively, because I can just work on the projects that I'm planning on doing, keep them all in one space. And yeah, I'll do some future videos, or a future video on sewing in a small space, because I think I've learnt some things already, even after a couple of weeks doing it really. So yeah, that will be coming up in a future episode. But anyway, I better get sewing. I've had a little look through my scrap fabric pile. I found a little bit of Tilda, and I've got some general. I've got a little bit of this, which is really pretty. I've got some spots. This is Tilda as well. I've got some houses. So it's not necessarily what you'd think of as autumn, but I'm not buying anything new for this, and I don't have anything that's particularly sort of brown, orange, what you'd normally think of as autumn shades. But I'm happy to go with slightly different shades and just see how they come out today. So, and I've got some backing fabric, which is just a cream fabric, and which I had from a slow stitch journal, which I started. So I've got all these squares, and I'm not really into sort of slow stitching as in a journal type thing, so I didn't think I was ever going to use it. So I'm going to use those today, the backs of the pages, the squares, ready for this project, to use them up, and old wadding for the middle, scraps left over from bag making or quilt making, just cut some squares off those as well. I'm going to draw around this on the first piece of fabric and have a little go at stitching it and see how it works out. I'm not going to do inside out. It's going to be seams on the outside, but I'll show you when I've done it. You can use a water-soluble pen to draw around if you'd like to, or one of the ones that comes off with an iron. I don't tend to like those too much. I don't use them, so I either use a pencil or a pen for mine. This is a scrappy project. I don't care if there's a little bit of pen showing. It's all part of the finished scrappy look for me. So I've drawn all the way around the outside of the shape. I'm going to stitch all the way around here. I've got brown in there. I don't want black. I want it to be a bit more not so obvious as black, so I'm going to go for a brown, a bit of a softer feel. And yeah, stitch all around the outside, and then I'm going to do a little line here. But as you can see, I've got fabric there on the outside. I've got the wadding in the middle, and then I've got the backing fabric here, and I've drawn on the back. Yes, my power bag can run a bobbin. First one done. Not sure how many I'm going to make yet, but I'm going to keep going, lay them out, see what they look like. And I haven't really decided how I'm going to lay them out, how I'm going to attach them, but I have got some leather look, it's not leather, but leather look thread, so I think possibly I might use that and a couple of beads and then hang them on the end. But I'll keep going, make a few more, and I'll show you what they look like when they're cut out in a moment.
Really pleased with how they turned out. I think they look really pretty. I really love the colours, and I've got one more to cut out.
So here's another one I've made. So I've stitched all the way around the outside and I've cut outside. As you can see, the seams are on the outside. To thread them all together, the leaves, I've decided I'm going to use this, which is like a fake leather, and I'm going to, my machine, I'm pretty sure my machine will stitch straight through it, so I can just stitch them on. I can lay them out so the fabric looks really nice together, and then attach them to this with my sewing machine. I'm pretty sure I can do that and just sew through, and then I can have a look to see what they look like. But I'm going to lay them out first and have a look, see what we think. Oh, I've also made a pumpkin. So the pumpkin shape that I cut out, which was here, so I just drew around that and then stitched on this fabric, and I'm going to do the same as I have with the leaves, cut around the outside, and I'm going to make that into a little coaster. Because our seams are on the outside, they may fray a little bit, which I think will look really cool. If you wanted them really frayed, you could snip a little bit around the outside, or you could, it's really raining there, can you hear it? You could snip around the outside, or you could wash it and it might fray, ruffle up a little bit. But it depends on what sort of fabric you're using. Some fabric frays more easily than others, so that does depend on the type of fabric that you've used. I quite like a fray effect, but I'm going to cut around this one now actually. I'm very neat and tidy with my scraps in the van. I always put them away straight away. So, oh, I love that. Look at that. That was super easy. I think maybe another row of stitches would have been better, but I'm just kind of playing at the moment. But anyway, there's the back of it, and there's the front. Just a little easy, scrappy pumpkin.
I laid out the leaves and then stitched them onto the cord on my machine. I stitched where the stalk was so you couldn't see any extra stitches. Just there.
Just about done. I'll show you a proper look in a minute when they're all hanging and laid out, so I'll take a little video. I've got little beads. I think I'm going to put little beads on the end. Actually, I could have put beads in the middle, but I don't think about that. It's too late now, but I'm going to put beads on the ends anyway. Let me know if you're going to be making any autumn projects yourself. I'm more autumn and spring. Winter, I'm not really a big Christmas maker. I don't make too many Christmas themed things. There we go. I like them. Right, let's hang them up. I'm so happy with them. It looks so cozy in here now. What do you think? I'm now going to do a little bit of hand sewing because I've been doing a lot of machine sewing. You could hand sew them easily, and if I'd got more time I probably would have hand sewn them myself, but I wanted to make quite a few today, so it was a bit quicker on the machine. And yeah, I'm going to do a little bit of embroidery now, have a little bit of relaxation. We have a little friend in the van. I haven't got spiky ears, it's Holly. She's joined me and she loves being in the van. She's the sort of cat that would jump in the back of a lorry when a lorry stops for a delivery, and she'd be off the other side of the country in the back of the lorry to Scotland, and we'd never see her again. She's that sort of cat. She's going on the bed now. She's come on holiday probably with us and really enjoy it. Yes, thank you for, that's what I was talking about. Thank you for watching. Next week's video is going to be a show and tell video, so I'll be letting you know all the whips I've been working on, what I've been doing, and I'll surprise, one of the things will be surprising because it's something I don't normally do, so I'll share that with you next time. Any projects I've finished and my whips as well. I happen to keep an eye on Holly to see what she's doing while she's in here. If you'd be interested in a little van tour, I will do one for you. I can, because this was an empty van. When we bought it, it was just an empty van. It wasn't a home. We've made it into a little mobile home, and now it's a sewing studio as well. Mostly a sewing studio. That's what I want it to be all the time. And yeah, so we did it all ourselves. We insulated it, put the bed in, absolutely everything. So if you're interested in how we did that, and I'll just have a little quick tour, let me know, and I'll do that in a future video as well for you. I'm now going to go indoors with Holly, who's trying to climb out of the window. She's looking out the window. Can you see anything good, Holly? She's looking very shocked, isn't she? Anyway, I'm going to finish my cup of coffee, do a little bit of embroidery, and I will see you again next week. Take care, everybody. Bye.